It's YouTube Wednesday! Contact cement. Let's explore its mysteries. This is Weldwood contact cement. This is the kind that I use all the time. Contact cement, new, is thin. It will thicken over time, just sitting in the can if nothing happens, as soon as it first gets exposed to air. So I rarely buy the gallons because even I'd rather buy 2 of these and just use one and then use the next one. A full gallon, it'll probably get too thick before I get down to using it. This is how you use contact cement. I am painting a thin coat on each side. I happen to be bonding textured to smooth on this one. That's not important. It'll still work if it's smooth to smooth or textured to textured. Now I have to wait for this to dry. I do not want to put these together right away. That would be wrong. Wait for them to dry. Give them about 10 minutes. These are my 2 pieces. This is now dry to the touch. That is what you want. It is no longer shiny and wet looking. It went from a shiny finish to a matte finish. I'm only going to get one chance at this. This isn't one you can pick up and move around. So I'm going to figure out where I want it. And push it in place. And then I want to give it pressure. The more pressure that I can give it, the more contact that I can make with this, the better. I'm really squeezing it. I'm really giving it some force. Now that is stuck right now. That's really well stuck together. But its full properties won't happen for about 4 hours. If you use contact cement, what we're going to do here is I'm going to put the contact cement on both sides like normal. I'm not going to wait for it to dry. I'm just going to put them together. This is wrong, okay? Don't do this. I'm showing you how it's wrong. I just put the 2 sides together. There, I have glued that together with contact cement. I'm going to set that off to the side. Here we have the wet bonded contact cement, and we have the proper bonded contact cement. We put it on both sides, let it dry completely, then we pressed it together. So these 2 are pretty similar, and let's take this wet bond here and let's see how look at that, just comes right apart as if it was never glued. I can peel it apart. But it's stuck much better. And that had been about 30 minutes, so I hadn't even given it all of the time for its properties. A much better bond on that one. You can also thicken contact cement, and you can thin contact cement. You thicken it with some kind of an inert filler. I use polyfiber most of the time. And this is xylene, which you thin contact cement with. Xylene is a great thinner for contact cement. I have 2 fairly stout containers. I will show you thickened contact cement, and I will show you thinned contact cement. Let's go ahead and put a little bit in each one. The first one, easy, xylene. You can thin this as much as you want. I thin contact cement with xylene to make a primer for EVA foam. And I paint it on there before I try to paint the EVA foam. And what I do is I do about 1 part contact cement to 5 parts xylene. So I'm not going to thin it that much. But yeah, you can also make a paint for masks out of this by tinting this with oil paints. So here we go. This is all going to dissolve together, and you will have just thinner contact cement, much thinner. Let me go ahead and I'll show you in a minute how you can add oil paint to that. This is thick, regular contact cement. And this is polyfiber. Polyfiber 2. I get it from Biddy Mold Supply. It's really great stuff. It kind of is inert. It doesn't have a lot of properties. We used to use stuff called Cavasil, and that's very carcinogenic, and it floats in the air and it scars up your lungs. It's powdered glass is what it's made out of. And you just add as much of this to you as you want. What do I use this for? What do I use thickened contact cement for? I use it all the time on masks. I might have a latex mask, and maybe I glued 2 latex masks together and the seam isn't perfect. I can use this thickened contact cement in order to fill in on those masks. And now I have a contact cement that's almost a putty. And it's going to cure, it's going to dry out. But look at that. See, now that'll go on a mask. You can smooth that. When it dries, it's sandable. That's good stuff. Back to the thin contact cement. To make rubber cement paint or contact cement paint, thinned contact cement, a little bit of oil paints, any brand. However dense you want that color to be. And you can see as I stir, it's going into that oil paint. It's kind of breaking it down and making it become part of the paint. And you can get a nice translucent paint here. Now, be careful what you store this in. And I wouldn't store it very long because it is going to solidify. Why I don't use contact cement or rubber cement paint on my masks most of the time, it's because I can't store the paint. I'd have to mix the paint every time I was going to paint a mask. I don't like that. But you can see I'm getting a nice vibrant purple color. Now, it's thin, it has translucency. So if you want to airbrush veins or something, this is great for that. Thickened contact cement, thinned and tinted contact cement. Make a paint out of it if you want. We will see how thinned contact cement sticks, how thickened contact cement sticks, and then regular contact cement sticks. Forgive me, for I have mistaked. This is the thickened contact cement, regular contact cement, and thinned contact cement. If you look at it, you can see the thickened contact cement is not really sticking down very well. It's just the thickener in there is not that great. And then you get to the regular contact cement. It's been a while, so that's got a good bond on it. Let's try the other end here. The thinned has a good bond too. Not as good as the straight contact cement. See, it's ripping the foam in some places as opposed to just coming up. This one sat a little bit longer, so it is better set. See, the foam is just ripping as opposed to just coming apart. contact cement. It's a good glue for EVA foam. This is just canvas fabric. Let's see how the contact cement works on fabric. Contact cement on wood. This is plywood. Is a artificial leather. It's fake leather. It's pleather. This is the kind with this stuff on the back. You might need to glue it that way. You might have the kind of vinyl that is vinyl on both sides. So I'm going to do that right here. Set that off to the side. Let them both dry. This is the plywood that we put together. Contact cement. I'm pressing them together firmly. All right, that is now glued together with contact cement. Here is a canvas. It is dry and ready. Something like fabric, I like to run something over it to really push those together. Almost like you're trying to get the air bubbles out of window tint. Really push it and get all that air out. Okay, those are now bonded together. This is pleather with both of the shiny sides bonded together. Again, like a fabric. Okay, let's get that out of the way. Here is our pleather piece. It's dry now, dry to the touch. I'm just kind of giving it a rub with something just to give it a little more contact, a little more strength. All right, so all of these things are now glued pretty well with contact cement. Here's another one. So contact cement works on a variety of materials. You can see that. Let's check the bond on a few of these things. I just did this one a little bit ago, so I know that that hasn't cured yet, but I also know that's a pretty good bond. I mean, that's holding, that's a good bond. But it's not even cured. This one, where these two are pressed together, I'm getting a decent bond, but it will come off. It does come away. You can see it just doesn't want to stick to that pleather very well. So I would say this may not be the best glue for this kind of pleather, which is why these are normally sewn together. They're not glued together. It does have pretty good strength this way, so it all depends on your surface area. Let's look at the canvas. This is really strong bond that direction right here. Now peeling it apart, okay, I got to it. I can get it to peel apart. It is a tough peel. There we go. Yeah, see, in this side here, this little bit had none on it. So not a bad bond on fabric, but it's not going to hold up a super test of time. It's not something that I would want to build out of. Once again, sew it. Wood. All right, so right here, these are not peeling apart this way. They're not peeling apart. I left these tabs on purpose so I could pull it apart a little bit. There we go. Got it. Good bond. Not a bad bond. But it will go under stress, obviously. And you really can't compress this like you can the foam or whatever. Trying to tear it apart, see this way, once again, you get no surface area. That's really tough. This way, I can pop it. But that's a nice bond. Again, nails, screws, far better for wood. That's why we don't just glue. While we're exploring contact cement, let's look at something else. Let's pour some contact cement into this cup so that we can use it later. There you go. So we're just going to set this off to the side because we don't need that contact cement right now. We'll put it in a cup, but that way we don't have to carry the whole can with us. I was called away for about 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. Here's what I came back to. This is, that's my Dixie cup right there, my solo cup, I should say. Yep, that's it. That's what I wanted to show you guys. So don't leave this, you know. If MacGyver wanted to start a fire, then he would have a little tea candle next to a solo cup full of contact cement. Then he would leave, it would melt down and puddle out and then catch fire. So don't let this, put it in this kind of a cup. You can see what it did here. I mean, be careful, guys. Contact cement, that stuff is pretty awesome. Go glue stuff!